What if I told you that thousands of people legally qualify to wipe out their hospital bills and never ask? Not because they don't need help, but because nobody tells them? And hospitals? They're not exactly rushing to remind you. Imagine getting home after an emergency. You're exhausted, still recovering, and then the bill arrives. $8,000, $22,000, $47,000. Just like that. One bad night, one ambulance ride, one scan. And suddenly your savings look like a crime scene. Most people make the same mistake. They panic. They think, I have to pay this. No, not yet. Because here's the first truth. Hospital bills are often massively inflated. Hospitals use something called the chargemaster, basically the fantasy menu, not the real price. The "we charge $84 for one Tylenol" menu. Yes, that happens. One man in Texas got billed over $40 for skin glue. Another patient was charged thousands for a routine CT scan that cost a fraction elsewhere. This isn't some rare glitch. This is the system. And here's the biggest secret. The first bill is often just the opening move, not the final number. Think of it like walking into a car dealership and paying the sticker price without even blinking. Painful and unnecessary. That's why smart people don't start by paying. They start by investigating. Because hidden inside that bill could be duplicate charges, wrong billing codes, phantom services you never received, or loopholes that can cut it dramatically, sometimes all the way down to almost zero. And the first weapon you need is the one question hospitals hate hearing. Can you send me the full itemized bill? The second you ask for an itemized bill, the game changes. Why? Because now the hospital has to show you everything. Every pill, every lab test, every glove, every facility fee. And trust me, some of these charges look like they were written by a drunk auctioneer. $30 for one Tylenol, $500 for a bag of saline, hundreds for room supplies nobody can even explain. And here's the truth. Medical billing errors are everywhere. Duplicate charges, wrong dates, procedures canceled but still billed, tests ordered but never performed. One woman was literally billed for holding her own baby after giving birth, skin-to-skin contact. Imagine getting charged for hugging your newborn. That's not comedy, that's America. This is why you ask for the bill with CPT codes. Those are the official medical billing codes. And when you say, I want the full itemized bill with all CPT codes, you immediately signal something important. I'm paying attention. That matters, because hospitals know most people never check. They just panic and pay. That's the trap. But once you audit the bill, you look for the big killers. Duplicate medications, duplicate lab work, upcoded procedures, wrong insurance processing, and phantom services. Upcoding is one of the biggest tricks. That's when a simple treatment gets billed like you survived a shark attack. A basic ER visit suddenly becomes high complexity. Translation, more money. And here's the loophole. The moment errors appear, your leverage goes up. Fast. Because now the hospital knows their bill is weak, and weak bills get cut. But the biggest money isn't saved from errors. It's saved from something even bigger, financial assistance. This is the part most people never hear about, and it's probably the biggest loophole in the entire medical system, charity care. Sounds small, it's not. Under federal law, many nonprofit hospitals are required to offer financial assistance programs, which means if your income falls within certain ranges, your bill can be reduced, sometimes by 50%, sometimes by 80%, and sometimes all the way down to zero. Zero, gone, like that ambulance ride never financially hit you. And here's the crazy part. Millions of people qualify and never apply. Why? Because hospitals rarely put this in giant bold letters on your bill saying, hey, by the way, you might owe nothing. Of course not. That would be terrible for business. Instead, you have to ask, and you have to ask the right way. Use this exact phrase. Do you have a financial assistance policy or a charity care application? That sentence is powerful. It forces them to acknowledge the program exists. And don't assume you make too much money. That's one of the biggest mistakes. Some hospitals approve families earning up to 300% or even 400% of the federal poverty level, which means plenty of middle-class families can qualify too. That's the loophole nobody talks about. And timing matters. Apply before the account goes to collections, because once it gets sold, things get uglier. Not impossible, just uglier. And here's another hidden trick. Even if you already started making payments, you can sometimes still apply retroactively. Yes, you can be halfway through paying and still ask for relief. Most people never know this. They just keep paying like they're trapped. But if charity care doesn't erase it completely, there's another weapon. And this one works even after collections start: settlement. So what if the bill already went to collections? Most people think that's game over. It's not. In fact, this is where the negotiation gets interesting. Because here's the dirty secret. Collection agencies usually buy medical debt for pennies on the dollar. Sometimes, literally, a $10,000 bill might be bought for $500 or less. That changes everything. Because now their goal isn't to collect the full amount. Their goal is profit, any profit. That's your leverage. And this is where most people make another mistake. They ask, how much can I pay per month? Wrong question. Never start there. That locks you into their game. Instead, ask this: what's the lowest settlement amount you can accept if I pay today? That question changes the battlefield, because now you're negotiating the total, not the monthly trap. And yes, start low. Very low. If the debt is $8,000, offer $1,500. Seriously, they'll act offended. That's part of the theater. Like a car salesman dramatically checking with the manager. Relax. It's a script. And here's the loophole. If you can prove hardship, job loss, disability, reduced income, surprise billing, they often become much more flexible, especially with medical debt. But never, ever agree over the phone without one thing: written proof. Always. Get the settlement agreement in writing before sending a single dollar, because if it's not written, it's basically just a bedtime story. And one more move. Ask if they will report the account as paid in full or settled to the credit bureaus. That matters a lot, because reducing the debt is great, but reducing the debt and protecting your credit, that's how you win. And there's one final layer to this system most people don't even know exists: the legal protections. Here's the final layer of protection. And this is where most people realize the game was never as one-sided as it looked. Because hospitals and collectors count on one thing: your ignorance. Not your money, your ignorance. And there are laws built to protect you. The first is the No Surprises Act. This one is huge. If you went to an in-network hospital, but got hit by an out-of-network anesthesiologist, surgeon, or emergency doctor, they often cannot legally balance bill you for the difference. Translation: that random $6,700 surprise charge from a doctor you never even chose might not be enforceable. That's a loophole worth thousands. Then there's credit reporting. Medical debt under certain thresholds, or recently paid debts, may not hit your credit the same way they used to. Translation: panic paying to save your credit can be a terrible move if you haven't audited the bill first. And here's the master strategy smart people use. Step 1, demand the itemized bill. Step 2, audit for errors. Step 3, ask for charity care. Step 4, ask for self-pay discounts. Step 5, negotiate hard if it reaches collections. Step 6, use the law when surprise billing shows up. That's the playbook. Not panic, not credit cards, not draining your retirement because a hospital printer spit out a scary number. Here's the truth. Medical bills are often less like taxes and more like negotiations disguised as emergencies. The system moves fast because it wants you scared. Fear makes people pay. Information makes people negotiate. And negotiation changes everything. Because the biggest mistake isn't getting a large medical bill. The biggest mistake is believing the first number is the real number. That's how the trap closes. But now you know where the exits are. The case is open.